following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. It's time for Casey's Take on Sports, covering sports in Cheatham and Dixon County, and a take on some other things. Now, a man who always has a take, here's Casey Patrick.
Good morning, everybody. How are y'all doing? I'm hoping that everybody's having a good day. Tom Brady did officially announce his retirement this morning, so all us football fans, we can actually enjoy that. We no longer have to watch Darth Vader just go throughout the ranks anymore. Also today, the fit check, I'm wearing my bowling jersey. Professional bowling season did start a few weeks ago. I'm not gonna bore you with any professional bowling talk. But we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let you know a rundown of the takes. The first take, we got to talk about last week. The whole playoffs have been nutty. They've been wild. I've enjoyed watching them. I know most football fans. We're going to talk about last week. Second take is going to be Super Bowl. We got to preview the Super Bowl. Bengals, Rams. Third take, Tom Brady. I'm actually going to get more into his retirement. There are some other things I want to talk about as far as Tom Brady and just his greatness in general. And then, of course, the fourth take, high school sports, coming up. Stay tuned. All right. So let's get into the first take. We're going to talk about last week's football. Bengals defeated the Chiefs. If you see me, my eyes are looking over here. I've got my paper written down with all my information. I actually took quite a bit of time this morning to write down everything. So hopefully today we've got I don't run out of anything to talk about. Excuse me. Bengals defeated the Chiefs 27-24 in overtime. Evan McPherson as a kicker is he's clutch and he's very good. I think by now most of you have probably seen the video from him where he was at Florida and he kicks the top off the Gatorade bottle. If you haven't seen that, you need to go find it. He legitimately kicks the side of a Gatorade top and it just spins off and flies off the ball. It's a pretty wild video. But McPherson's good. Joe Burrow's good. The Bengals were down early in the game. It was 21-3, and it was awful. I mean, the first few minutes, I thought, oh, good Lord, this is bad. I didn't want to watch it. I don't think anybody wanted to watch it. I'm thinking that all of us were afraid that the following three quarters after that onslaught there at the beginning was just going to be ugly. But give the Bengals a lot of credit. I mean, they only allowed 3 points to Patrick Mahomes in the second half and overtime combined. 3 points allowed to Patrick Mahomes in that offense. I mean, it's not just Patrick Mahomes. I get that. Andy Reid, y'all know I'm a fan of Andy Reid. Andy Reid's a great coach. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon. I mean, there are weapons all over the field. McCole Hardman. The Bengals defense allowed only 3 points in the second half and overtime combined. That's winning football. That is how you defeat Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl. Good job by the Bengals. And I know I tweeted out yesterday. I said, "Are we all rooting for the Bengals?" I hate to use the word rooting because I mean I'm not really a Bengals fan, but I certainly was a bandwagon fan this weekend. Just tired of watching the Chiefs win. But congratulations to Cincinnati. I know there are a lot of fans of that organization that, quite frankly, I mean, they haven't seen a lot of postseason success in a long time. Vontaze Burfict and Pac-Man Jones ruined their opportunity about 7 or 8 years ago. But it's something else I want to talk about. A.J. Green, who's been on those awful Cincinnati teams, he went to Arizona this year because he thought it gave him a better chance to go to the Super Bowl, and we see how that worked out. I almost feel bad for A.J. Green, but not my problem. He's a millionaire athlete. He'll be all right. But like I said, again, Bengals, congratulations that they played winning football. Certainly not at the beginning. I think we all saw that. Patrick kind of ran around and did his thing, and he hits Tyreek Hill on the move, and they're moving the ball up and down the field. And I really want to say that the play at the end of the first half where Eli Apple makes the tackle on Tyreek Hill and time expires, I mean, that's quite literally the play of the game. And Eli Apple, who I'm not a fan of, and I hope you don't follow him on Twitter because it's not a lot of it doesn't even make sense. He just spends most of his time trash talking opponents, which is usually fun, but when I can understand it. I think he called Tyreek Hill a baby. If so, that's an incredibly fast baby. But he did. He tackled Tyreek Hill right before the goal line at the end of the first half. I think that was a huge momentum swing. Obviously, I mean, 3-point game. We went to overtime. Completely different ball game if the Chiefs find a way to score there, whether it's a touchdown or field goal or not. But overall, just a nutty game. It kind of adds the entire playoffs have been insane, and they've been a lot of fun to watch, other than watching Evan McPherson kick a certain 52-yard field goal against a certain team. But other than that, the Bengals, again, congratulations. Playoffs have been nutty. Let's talk about the NFC real quick. Rams defeated the 49ers. Another comeback win. I said last week, I did get the Bengals-Chiefs game wrong. I figured the Chiefs would win. The game kind of went how I thought it would until that halftime. And then second half, the Bengals looked like the better team. So I got that one wrong. But Rams defeated the 49ers. I took the Rams to win, although I thought the Rams were going to win by more points. I mean, it just felt like the Rams, they got the ball all the way down there, and then they I know Stafford threw an interception near or in the end zone at one point, and then Slakowski, or I may have butchered that name, but one of the other Rams receivers, he drops a touchdown. It always kind of felt like the Rams were winning, but they weren't. They were never winning. The 49ers were ahead until it mattered at the end, of course. But the Rams, they come back to beat the 49ers. We're going to have a Super Bowl. Joey B and Matthew Stafford. I had a brain fart for a minute. Matthew Stafford, Joey B, two brand new faces in the Super Bowl. I think this is awesome for football. I think it's great, especially you have some of the older guys. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is getting older. Tom Brady just announced his retirement. We need to see some fresh faces. So it's cool to see that we're going to have some new guys. And I don't really know who I'm rooting for. I don't have to look at Patrick Mahomes. I don't have to look at Tom Brady. We're going to have fresh faces in the Super Bowl, and I like that. I know the Rams were in it a few years ago, but this feels like a different team. The Bengals, they're in. That's wild to say, the Bengals in the Super Bowl. So congratulations to them. Let's talk about the Super Bowl matchup. It's next take. That's my next take. We're going to talk about it, preview it. Well, much like last year, of course, Tampa Bay, I'm pretty sure they hosted the Super Bowl in Raymond James Stadium, their home stadium. We're going to have the same thing this year. Rams, they're going to host the Super Bowl in SoFi, which I think is pretty neat. I think that's cool, other than the fact that it's in California. I have no reason to go to California. If the Titans were in the Super Bowl, I would have made myself go, but I think it is cool that the Rams get to host the Super Bowl as well as play in it. But man, we got Joe Burrow, we got Matthew Stafford, and next week on the podcast, I may actually go a little bit deeper in the X's and O's. I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. I think I'm going to give you my first initial thought on how I believe the Super Bowl is going to go. First of all, the Titans' defensive line, defense in general, sacked Joe Burrow 9 times. The Los Angeles Rams just so happen to have an individual on their team by the name of Aaron Donald. And I don't know if you've been living under a rock. Maybe you don't know who Aaron Donald is. Maybe you never watched him at Pittsburgh. Maybe Maybe you haven't seen him throughout his 7 or 8 years now in the NFL. He is one of, if not the best overall players in the NFL. Before the season started, I told everybody, for me, it was Derrick Henry and Aaron Donald. They're the 2 best football players on the planet. I usually just say Derrick Henry because I'm a Titans homer, and I think we're all okay with that. If not, get over it. I'm going to be a Titans fan. But Aaron Donald is an insanely gifted player, and he resides on that Rams defense. Yeah, specifically the defensive line. They also have Leonard Floyd, Von Miller. There are a few other guys on the defense. I mean, if I sit here and name their all the good players on their defense, we'll be here for 45 minutes. And that's the last thing any of you want is listen to me ramble that long. But the Rams have a lot of talent, and on both sides of the ball, obviously. But honestly, that defensive line, I know people say, oh, well, the Titans sacked him 9 times and they still lost. Yeah, well, the Titans don't have Sean McVay. If the Titans had Sean McVay, I just slapped my light. You'll have to stop. I legitimately pow. I hope I didn't just break I don't care. I'll buy another one. But if the Titans had Sean McVay, they beat the Bengals. They're just different play calls in general. They beat the Bengals by at least 10. That's neither here nor there. I'm not going to stew on the past. It's only going to make me upset more. I haven't taken my blood pressure medicine yet. I can't do that. But the Rams, I feel like the Rams are just going to be able to dominate this game up front. San Francisco is one of those teams that they have won at the line of scrimmage, especially in the second half of the season. They've won most of their games up front. They play bully ball. Defensive line, offensive line, both sides. That's what San Francisco wants to do. And the Rams were able to not only compete up front, they were able to win a lot of those matchups. And I feel like the Rams are just going to continue that. Cincinnati's offensive line, the pass blocking is not good. The run blocking, I think I saw Mixon carry the ball 12 times Sunday for 14 yards. I just don't. I like Joe Burrow. I love watching him and Jamar Chase play together. But you have to legitimately think about it. The offensive line for Cincinnati has not been good this year. It's not been good all year long. And the defense for the Rams is probably the best defense that the Bengals are going to face, other than maybe the Titans. And the Rams certainly have more name. I mean, they've got more, what would you call that? Star power, I guess. I don't know if that actually counts for anything, but the Rams defense is definitely good. And they're going to be in Joe Burrow's face all day. The other thing that the Rams have is they have one of the best corners in football. Jalen Ramsey's going to shadow Jamar Chase most of the day. Somebody tweeted out a meme that said watching Jalen Ramsey against Jamar Chase is going to be a religious experience. And I don't know if he's wrong. It's going to be a wild game to watch. But my first initial reaction, and you guys, hey, freezing cold takes, whatever, Twitter people, whatever you want to take, y'all make sure y'all remember this. All right, hold me accountable for the dumb stuff that I say. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I feel like the Rams are going to win this game. I feel like they're going to win the game by a lot too. And when I say a lot, I don't mean 35 points. I think they're going to win by almost 2 touchdowns. I could see this being a 13-point difference, 13, maybe even 17-point difference. I just don't trust the Bengals offensive line to allow Joe Burrow to do much of anything. And the offense for the Rams, I mean, Stafford, as long as he can keep his head out of his backside, I think the Rams are going to be fine. They're going to win this game. I ultimately believe. I'm thinking a 31-13 type deal, maybe 31-14. I don't know. 31-17 sounds weird, but I'm taking Rams. We're going to go to the next take. We're going to talk about a little Tom Brady real quick. Over the weekend, I don't know exactly what day because I don't keep up with stuff like I should. I think y'all figured that out by now. But over the weekend, Tom Brady, Jeff Darlington, I believe, from ESPN announced that he retired, and Adam Schefter kind of doubled on that. And And then reports started coming out saying, hey, Tom Brady's not, he ain't really made his decision yet, and blah, blah, blah. And he said he hadn't made a decision yet on his podcast. And then Tuesday morning, he finally comes out, I believe on Instagram maybe, and he shares that he's ready. He's ready to call it a career. And there are a few things I want to talk about Tom Brady. First of all, and I don't know which way I want to go with this. I've got really two main thoughts I want to go with, and I'm going to go with the one that I've been thinking about most of the day. You don't have to like Tom Brady. You don't have to love Tom Brady to understand that as a football fan, if you are a football fan, you have been blessed to witness the greatest quarterback that has ever played this game up until this point. I like watching the old videos of Joe Montana. You see the old videos of all the older quarterbacks, the Joe Namaths, the Dan Marinos, Terry Bradshaw. The names go on and on. There are a lot of older quarterbacks. Don't get me wrong. I don't care. Tom Brady is better than all of them. And you can look at stats. His stats are better than everybody in most stats because of longevity. 7 Super Bowl rings. 7 Super Bowl rings. I don't even think I've dated 7 women in my entire life. That's insane. To win 7 Super Bowls, he's better than anybody else that's ever played this game. He's better than you. He's better than me. He's better than everybody else that's ever played. I'm not a Tom Brady fan. I didn't like watching the Patriots. I enjoyed Tom and his sense of humor a little bit more when he got to Tampa Bay. I think he was a little bit more of a smart aleck and definitely fun to keep up with on social media because he would give people a hard time. But 84,000 yards, 624 touchdowns. The crazy part is his last 2 years, both in Tampa Bay, he had 40 touchdowns in both of those seasons. Tom Brady never threw for 40 touchdowns in an entire season, except for the record-setting season when he broke. Peyton Manning had 49, and Tom Brady threw for 50. Tom Brady threw for 50 touchdowns. That was the only time up until the last 2 years that Tom Brady had ever thrown 40 or more touchdowns in a season. The last 2, he threw 40 in both of the seasons. You can attribute that to he's got a lot of talent on that team, and I get that, blah, 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 whatever. It's amazing that he could be 44 or whatever he was this year. I mean, I'll be 30 here in a few days, and I don't even use this arm in my left arm. My elbow hurts. Tom Brady's 44 years old. He's old enough to have grandkids, and he's out here throwing 40 touchdowns, 5,300 yards or something like that this year. That's insane. Back-to-back 40 touchdown seasons in his 40s. He is the best to ever do it. And if you're a fan of football, you don't have to like Tom Brady. I'm not going to ask you to like Tom Brady. Heck, I'm not even going to expect you to like Tom Brady. I will, however, tell you that you should be incredibly happy that you were able to witness the best football player of all time. Now, here's the other part. Here's the other thing I wanted to say about Tom Brady. If I had a mansion on, I don't know, a beach somewhere, and my wife just so happened to look like Gisele Bündchen, there's not any amount of money on this planet that you could have paid me to play the last 10 years. I'm surprised Tom made it this far. If he could have went home and said, "Oh, hey, honey, how are you?" to his beautiful supermodel, all universe looking wife, and he's got kids at home, and he's money's not a problem, never gonna be a problem. He's in great shape. I don't know how he lasted this long. I wouldn't have, which y'all know me. I mean, somebody could give me $20 and I would have retired on it. But the fact that he lasted as long as he did is insane. And he's still he's still in fairly good shape. Like I said, the last 2 years he's putting up goofy amounts of points. I am happy he's gone. I don't know why it took this long to get him to go away. I think it was just I think the whole Tampa Tom thing was just about. I think he just wanted to stick it to Belichick because Belichick wanted to move on from him, and he report said, and I don't know if this is true. We all just go off what other people say, right? A few years ago, Belichick wanted to get rid of Tom and give the keys to the offense to Jimmy Garoppolo, and well, Belichick didn't get to do that. And in fact, he didn't get to keep Garoppolo, and then Brady left right after. And I think Brady just went to Tampa, and he probably thought about quitting then, but he went to Tampa just to say, hey, Bill, I'm still better than you, and I'm going to show you why. And that's exactly what he did. He won a Super Bowl. They went back this year as the second seed in the playoffs. Lost to a really good Rams team. I know Tom Brady's not going to watch this, but first of all, congratulations on a wonderful career. Congratulations on what I expect to be an awesome retirement. He gets to go home he's got all the money in the world. He's got a nice house, beautiful wife, kids. It doesn't get much better than that. Greatest football player of all time. It's okay to admit that, even if you don't like him. Now, we're going to talk a little bit of high school sports coming up next. That's my last take. Now, before we get too far into the high school stuff, I will say because of COVID and viruses, and then, of course, weather we've had the last few weeks, which it's beautiful outside the last few days. I was outside in shorts, felt great, driving around with the windows down. But we all know here around, I'm in Dixon. We all know in this area, we've had some snow here lately. Some of my schedules may be absolutely awful. If you're a coach or an AD and you're watching this and my information is wrong, please reach out to me and tell me it should be different. But we're going to go over a little bit of high school stuff this week. And like I said, this is what I've got on my schedule. It may not even be right. It's been hard to keep up with everything. COVID has absolutely ruined schedules. It's awful. And of course, like I said, the weather threw everybody off. But Dixon County will be playing at Northwest. I can't even read my own handwriting. How ridiculous is that? Thank God I typed. If you people that read my articles, if you had to read it in my handwriting, you'd stop. I mean, you would just look at Marty's photos or Bill's photos and be like, oh, great, sports, and be done, because you can't read what I write. I can't even read what I write. Dixon County will be traveling to Northwest on Friday. And then they did have, I know this one's right because I looked at the Dixon Twitter. They're hosting Waverly on Saturday. It's going to be a 1 o'clock tip. That's going to be fun. Saturday, I'm going to be at Austin Peay State University. And for those of you that don't know why, Ty Tomlin is going to look to improve his perfect record. And I cannot wait for that. I'm going to be there Saturday. Spoke with some promotional people, some boxing promoters yesterday. Going to hopefully got my media pass set up. It's crazy. I get paid to go watch people do stuff. This is an awesome job. But Dixon is going to host Waverly Saturday. Like I said, 1 o'clock tip for varsity. I think the junior varsity plans on playing. So if you've got a kid or you want to go watch somebody else's junior varsity team, I want to say their game starts at 10:30. That might be wrong. Check out Dixon County Cougar on Dixon County Cougar Network, maybe on Twitter. Now we're going to move to Creekwood. Creekwood is traveling to Greenbrier on Tuesday. Oh, my God. My handwriting is awful. And that may not be correct because I know they played last week. But Creekwood's traveling to Greenbrier, or they're supposed to travel to Greenbrier on Tuesday. And then at West Creek on Friday. That's going to be a fun matchup. Dixon played West Creek earlier in the year. The Lady Redhawks shouldn't have an issue against West Creek, but that boys team is really athletic. A little bit smaller team West Creek is, but they're fast. They attack defensively. Now, moving on to Harpeth, they will be facing Hickman on Tuesday, and then my schedule says they're at Cheatham County on Friday. I don't know if that's true. I'm going to check with somebody, but Harpeth at Cheatham, that's going to be a lot of fun. And Cheatham's also going to they're going to Montgomery Central on Tuesday. Sycamore is heading to White House Heritage on Tuesday. My buddy Blaine Keller is going to be up there. He's going to cover that game for me. And hey, if you're watching this and you keep up with Main Street Media, I don't care if you have a team that Blaine Keller covers or not, you need to read his articles. He's a very talented, very, very hardworking young man. He's helped me out a lot the last few weeks. He covered Creekwood last week, and then he covered another team before that. My brain doesn't work correctly, so I can't tell you which team it was. I can't remember that. But Blaine's been a huge help to me. I know he's helped the rest of us out before. He's been a freelancer for the company for a while. Check out his work. And you better hope that he covers one of your teams, because it is really fun to kind of read the way he does the article. I love it. But Sycamore is going to be at White House Heritage on Tuesday, and then they're hosting Stewart County on Friday. Did I get that right? Oh, I did get that right. I thought I misread my own handwriting once again. I've been speaking with some wrestling coaches. We've got wrestling is towards the end of the year now. I mean, it's coming up. See, wrestling, of course, bowling's over. I said that. Basketball, wrestling. There's not too much else going on right now. However, right around the corner, of course, I went to Cheatham and Sycamore last Friday. And while I was there, Coach Garrett, the softball coach, she came up to me and she gave me a softball schedule. And softball's right around the corner. I mean, they're already practicing. Well, I mean, they practice all year long, but they're raring. They're ready to go. Can't blame them. I love baseball season. You guys know that. But baseball and softball right around the corner. Boys soccer also right around the corner. I got to speak with Coach McCullough, Taylor McCullough, the boys soccer coach, while I was there Friday. Of course, he said he's got to get me a schedule, and so boys soccer coming up, tennis is coming up. More on that in just 1 second, and also track and field. Track and field just around the corner as well. Now, tennis. Just real quick, this is something I learned yesterday. Dickson County's got a massive budget to spend on stuff that I guess they see fit as far as the school board goes. And they spent a lot of that massive budget taking the fence out around the tennis court. And now that they've spent more than they expected to, they decided to stop working on the tennis court. So now you just have a bunch of spent money for an area that nothing's gotten done. So if you're watching this, I'm going to have to go figure out what's going on with this tennis court. I got to figure out where the Cougars are going to play. The Cougars and Lady Cougar tennis teams, I got to figure out where they're going to play. They might be playing at Bugner. Who knows? So be looking for that. That's going to be in next week's paper. Be looking for that. I'm gonna do a little bit of investigative journalism. Y'all like that? I actually have to work. That's weird. They usually just pay me to watch sports. No, I actually enjoy doing stories like these. You get to figure out stuff. So I got to figure out what the Dickson County Cougars are gonna do with their tennis court. I got to figure out where they're gonna play. I got to figure out why they just spent a bunch of money for nothing. So I'm gonna get on that case as soon as I hop off here. What a wild weekend. We get the Pro Bowl next week, I guess. Did they still do the Pro Bowl before that? But Super Bowl, hey, 2 weeks. February 13th, SoFi Stadium. Super Bowl's coming up. Tom Brady's not in it. Patrick Mahomes ain't in it. Oh, man. I'm excited, and I hope y'all are too. Thanks for checking out Casey's Take. My elbow's still messed up. Kids, don't get old and fat. It hurts. Don't do that. Super Bowl coming up 2 weeks. Everybody stay ready for that. Spring sports around the corner. It's time to be really excited right now. Thanks for checking out Casey's Take. And y'all have a good evening.
This has been Casey's Take on Sports. Follow Casey on Twitter at CVP51 and online at mainstreetpreps.com. Check out the podcast if you missed any part of this. Wednesdays at noon. It drops every week. Casey's Take on Sports is a Main Street Media production.